Hello, I'm Richard Connor, and I am the Editor-in-Chief of the United Nations World Water Development Report. Water crises are jeopardizing prosperity and peace across communities and countries worldwide. Water underpins prosperity through health, education, employment, food and energy security, and life-sustaining ecosystems. Equitably sharing these benefits promotes peace. Violent conflicts, epidemics, global warming, hyperinflation, mass migration, and other crises all affect and are affected by water. In nearly all cases, it's the poorest, most vulnerable groups that suffer the most severe consequences. The 2024 edition of the United Nations World Water Development Report offers an in-depth analysis of the interdependencies between water, peace, and prosperity. The world is facing a growing water crisis. As of 2022, 2.2 billion people live without access to safely managed drinking water. 80% of those who lack even basic drinking water live in rural areas, while urban populations are struggling to meet the demand for water in the rapidly growing cities and city populations. In terms of safely managed sanitation, the situation remains dire, with 3.5 billion people lacking access to such services. Roughly half the world's population currently experiences severe water scarcity for at least part of the year. 1/4 of the world's population faces extremely high levels of water stress, using over 80% of their annual renewable freshwater supply. Agriculture remains the main cause of pollution worldwide. But in lower income countries, where over 90% of wastewater is discharged directly into the environment without any treatment, every day, more than 1,000 children under 5 die from illnesses caused by contaminated drinking water. Climate change is projected to increase the frequency and intensity of droughts and floods. Irreversible damage to freshwater ecosystems is expected to occur across all regions. Some of the most severe impacts will be felt in the least developed countries, in small islands, and in the Arctic, particularly affecting indigenous communities, small-scale food producers, and low-income households. Water has always been seen as a vector for prosperity. But while water has long been recognized as a driver of economic growth, empirical evidence has been difficult to establish. Some countries located in arid and semi-arid areas have well-developed economies, while other countries with relatively abundant water supplies are amongst the most underdeveloped. In low-income countries, 80% of all jobs are water dependent, compared to 50% in high-income countries. This disparity is critical in the context of climate change, which affects water availability, posing a threat to employment in low and middle-income countries where agriculture is the mainstay of employment. Approximately 80% of the world's extreme poor live in rural areas and depend on rain-fed agriculture for their livelihoods and food security. With increasing prosperity comes access to technology. Artificial intelligence has the potential to help increase the efficiency of water supply and sanitation systems. However, the risks of digitization include wide system failures owing to cyber attacks. Artificial intelligence and related technologies also require large volumes of water for computer system cooling, in addition to the water-intensive energy required to power the equipment. It's been estimated that it takes about 1 liter of water to answer 20 to 100 AI queries. Equitable water allocation encourages investment and benefit sharing, and ultimately promotes social cohesion. However, leveraging water for prosperity and peace relies on policies, decisions, and actions taken beyond the water domain. Unfortunately, energy pricing, agricultural subsidies, and urban planning often fail to account for their implications on water depletion and pollution. Conflict can exacerbate existing water crises. The linkages between water and armed conflict are complex. Water has most often been a tool, a target, or a victim of warfare, but not typically the cause of war. The Geneva Convention explicitly prohibits the targeting of water infrastructure. While tensions and disagreements over water do occur, especially at local levels when access to water resources are disputed or where supply and sanitation services are disrupted, such disputes are commonly resolved through dialogue, negotiation, and cooperation, provided the appropriate legal frameworks are in place and the various governing institutions have the willingness and capacity to offer fair and equitable guidance. Sustainable water management generates a plethora of benefits to individuals and communities, including health, food and energy security, protection from natural hazards, education, improved living standards and employment, economic development, and a variety of ecosystem services. It is through these benefits that water leads to prosperity, and the equitable sharing of these benefits promotes peace. With that, I thank you for your kind attention. Peace.